Section 1, add and subtract polynomials. So this part's pretty easy, but I'm going to take my time and make sure everybody understands it. So you got to know the terminology. All right, so polynomial. That sounds like a strange word. So let's define it. Polynomials are named by highest degree and which is your exponent, by the way, in case you didn't know, and amount of terms. Jackman, do you remember the book you had where you came from? Where did you come from?
St. Joe.
Okay. What was the last thing you guys worked on?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Okay.
We took a while for finals.
Okay. All right. Well, we're starting fresh, so maybe we'll have no problems. All right, so you have two names based on the expression that we're going to look at. So polynomials are these expressions, either on the left side of the equal sign or the right side of the equal sign. But you give it a name based on the highest exponent and also on the amount of terms. Remember, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. All right, so one thing you cannot have. No variable and or negative exponents. Alright, so we don't consider these polynomials. If there's no variable, it's not a polynomial. If it has a negative exponent, we don't consider it a polynomial. Okay? Now there are obviously numbers that are by themselves, we call those constants, but when we talk about polynomials, we really want a variable in it with positive exponents. Alright, so here's the first name, monomial. A monomial is one term. So these three names I'm going to give you here are going to be the names based on the amount of terms. And as I write them out, I'm also going to give you the name based on the degree. Alright, so a monomial, I'll just write all these examples down. The number 10, that's a monomial. The letter x by itself, or 1x, that's a monomial. 3x, negative 2, negative 4x squared, x to the 4th, and 10x cubed. Those are all single terms. Those are all monomials. Okay? We could have said this, negative 4x squared over 3. That's still one term. So that's a monomial. As opposed to a binomial. X plus 2, that's two terms. Separated by plus and minus signs. X squared plus x, that's two terms. X cubed minus 3x, that's two terms. That's a binomial. 4x squared minus 5, that's a binomial. X squared minus 9, two terms again. And negative 2x to the 5th minus 3x. That's only two terms. We've been talking about amount of terms all year. Okay? So those are all examples of binomials. Anybody not see the pattern there?
I thought it said you can't have a variable.
When I'm talking in general about when you can't have a variable, or
Well, you said no variable.
if it doesn't have a variable,
Oh.
that's what it means by no variable. right, and then a trinomial. And, you know, when we're naming things, we're really just kind of learning the lingo. It's not so much that, wow, this is going to, you know, make you the greatest scientist in the world. No, it's just we're trying to get through the terminology so that when we start talking about things, you really understand what I'm saying. Okay? It's a little trivial, but you still need to know what the names are. All right, trinomials, 3 terms. How about x squared plus 2x plus 4? 3 terms, everybody agree? Okay. Negative 2x to the 5th plus 4x squared minus 5. Everybody saying that that's 3 terms? 6x squared minus 3x plus 18. Now we could have fractions in here as well. I just didn't put any in here. I'll put one in on this one. And then this one, how about 5/3 x cubed minus 2/7 x squared plus 4x over 5. That's 3 terms. So that's a trinomial. Notice I don't have any negative exponents up here. Alright, now I want to go through and just kind of talk to you about the names based on degree. Monomials, this variable has an exponent of 1, right? Alright, so we call that a linear monomial. If you want to, you can say, I'll just put these down here. So exponents, these are the highest exponents. So an exponent of 1 is called linear. An exponent of 2 we can call a quadratic. Okay. An exponent you can also call it a square, because you'll see that. I'll probably use it. Okay. An exponent of 3 is a cubic. And after that, we typically just say 4 degree, 5 degree, 6 degree, 7 degree, 8 degree. Okay. Technically, you could say it with these. This is a 2nd degree polynomial. This is a 3rd degree polynomial. But you'll see these vocabulary words. Okay. So that's a little bit about what we have here. This is a linear binomial. That's what this would be labeled. This is a quadratic trinomial, or a square trinomial. Yeah.
How come it would be quadratic because there's like 2x and it's 2x is like...
The 2 is the highest exponent.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you're looking for. This is a 3. This is a cubic binomial. This is a square monomial. Quadratic monomial. Okay. All right. So those are your the list of your terminology. Now let's talk about adding or adding polynomials. Example 1. Horizontal. So here it is. In parentheses, 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 plus, in parentheses, 2x squared minus 2x plus 4. This is adding these two together horizontally. This is basically what you've been doing all along. We're going to do it vertically here in a minute. So, how do I add expressions together? What's important? Anybody know? Okay. Well, what's a like term? Oh, so they have the same letter and the same exponent? That's right. Like terms have to have the same base, in this case the letter, and the same exponent. And what you do is you look at their coefficients, and you take the 3 plus the 2. The exponents don't change. We're not multiplying or dividing, we're adding. So I have 3x squareds here and 2x squareds there. So I have 5x squareds altogether. Alright, then we have an x to the first here and x to the first there. So you take 4 plus negative 2. So you have a positive 2x squared. Here, or x, correct. And here you have a minus 5 or a negative 5 plus positive 4. Negative 1. So you can say minus 1 or you can say plus negative 1. Sarah, or Nate.
Oh, no, I was just gonna answer.
Okay. All right. Now I want to look at this this next one, adding it vertically. So example 2. So here are your two expressions in parentheses: negative 2x cubed minus 5x minus 2. So that's the first expression. Okay? The second expression we're going to add, I'm going to write it horizontally and then I'm going to show you how to write it vertically, okay? The second expression, well, you know what? I'm going to write it underneath here to prove the point. We're adding 3x squared plus 4x minus 2. Now I think everybody in here, or almost everybody in here, can actually do this, but I want to show you something. You don't necessarily need to do what I'm going to do, but it might help you, those of you who struggle, which I don't think there's going to be very many of you here, but that's okay. Notice that these two are alike. Yes, they're the same, but they're alike because they're constants. They're numbers by themselves, right? These two are alike because the bases and the exponents are the same. The point is, when you add and subtract vertically, you should add and subtract vertically in columns based on like terms. These two are not alike. Does everybody see that? Alright, so this is how I like to do it. The cube is the biggest, so I'm going to put this furthest left. I don't have an x squared, so it's a placeholder. It's like you don't write 1009 like this, do you?
Oh, I thought we had 3x squared.
Hold on a second. I'm only looking at this first expression. Okay, hold on a second.
Oh,
So, to write 1009, don't you need 2 zeros in there? So they're placeholders. You don't have to do this. So I just put a placeholder in here for my x squared term, because there's no x squared up here. Now I have an x to the first, so it's minus 5x to the first, minus 2. Now I have all the placeholders in position. Alright, now down here, I'm adding. This is how I actually do this. 3x squared, that goes in this position. 4x, positive 4x goes in this position, and a minus 2 in this position. Now everything is lined up. Yeah, technically there's a 0x cubed here, but I don't necessarily need to write it. Okay, now I add vertically, just like you would add two big numbers together. So negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 5 plus positive 4 is negative 1x. 0 plus 3 is 3x squared. And I have negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2x cubed. And that would be my answer. You do not need to do this if you can add it correctly this way. I am never going to make you do this. But those of you who might struggle, this might be a good idea to do. Okay? Alright. Subtracting. It might even help you to do it when you're subtracting. adding seems to be a little bit easier. So horizontally first, example 3. Here's your expression. 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 minus this expression. 2x squared minus 2x plus 4. I'm going to say it, assuming that you don't understand it. I know some of you get this, but I want to make sure you understand it. You're subtracting each of these terms, not just the first one. The minus sign is outside of this parentheses. So I'm subtracting the whole thing, not just the 2x squared. So I need to make sure I minus the 2x squared, I minus the minus 2x, and I minus the positive 4. Make sure you do that.
Could we make it, that side plus negative 2x squared? No, I mean minus, plus negative 2x squared, yeah. And then plus 2x minus 4.
Yes, you did. Just make sure you make that into a plus if you need it. That'd be totally fine.
Oh,
Okay? So, let's just go ahead and do this. 3x squared minus the 2x squared. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4x, I have an x here, so 4 minus 2 is 4 plus 2. So that's plus 6x. And a minus 5 minus 4 is a minus 9. Okay. All right. Example 4, let's do it vertically. Minus 2x cubed minus 5x minus 2. And we're subtracting here. 3x squared plus 4x minus 2. So I did the same one as up here, except I'm subtracting. I didn't put any placeholders in. Everybody do this on your own. If you need placeholders, put them in. This is the easy lesson. Most students don't have many problems with the first section of this chapter. Okay. Just for my own personal reference, I'm going to put in a placeholder. Okay. What's important here is we're subtracting again. Negative 2 minus a negative 2. Well, that's plus 2. So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So that's gone. Negative 5 minus 4 is negative 1. I have 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. And negative 2 minus 0 is just negative 2. Who got that right?
It's negative.
negative
That's-
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like,
Alright, so, who got it right? Not me, yeah. That happens. Actually, I have it right, I have it right on my paper. I didn't copy them right.
Yeah, he's got it on there.
Yeah. Alright, yeah. Any questions on adding and subtracting polynomials? Yeah. Okay, so here's your assignment. Page 557, 3 to 26, all and mixture evens. Begin.